Hi, I'm Kate Naito, and this is counter conditioning for leash reactivity. Here's an example of level 1. You're going to be looking at Beans, the dog that is not in a harness.
Yes.
And when Beans looks at the fake dog, I immediately mark yes and reward her with a treat.
Yes.
Now you'll see it in slow motion. It should be subtle. We're not looking for dramatic reactions here. Beans glances at the dog. I immediately yes and reward. Here's another example where she orients towards the dog, her ears move forward, but she doesn't do anything more dramatic than that. I immediately mark and reward. Here's another example from real life. There is a dog passing on the other side of that parked car. Beans will notice it.
Yes.
Immediately, I mark and reward before she decides to do anything foolish. Now watch how subtle her next acknowledgement of the dog is. Right there.
Yes.
And I mark and reward. In your case, you're going to probably have to be body blocking and U-turning much more quickly than I am. Let's watch this again in slow motion. She notices the dog. I immediately mark and reward. And remember, in your case, you would then be U-turning, body blocking, or moving away from the trigger because your dog might have a much more dramatic reaction if you stay there. Her next reaction to the dog is fantastic. She just barely notices it, gets that treat, and off we go. We want your dog not to care about the trigger, so definitely reward those very subtle responses. This is level 2, where I'm body blocking and counter conditioning Margaret from a passing person. She looks at the person, looks up at me, and I mark and reward. With her still being body blocked, she looks again, looks up at me, and I mark and reward. Here it is in slow motion. She looks at the person, looks up at me, and I mark and reward, keeping her in that body blocked position. Here comes the next one. She looks at him, looks at me, and I mark and reward. Now we're looking at Beans in the purple. There is a dog passing by. She looks at the dog, looks at me, and I mark and reward. Once again, she looks at the dog, looks at me, and I mark and reward.
Very good job.
And we walk away. However, I recommend you body block here. And here it is in slow motion, where she sees the dog, then looks up at me, and I immediately mark and reward for the eye contact on me. Now, mind you, I'm not body blocking, I'm not U-turning. You probably should do those things. So here you should be body blocking as you walk away. And notice there, she looks at the dog, looks up at me, but because I wasn't paying attention or body blocking, I didn't see it. Once you get to level 3, to the untrained eye, it just looks like a regular loose leash walk. So here I have Margaret body blocked. I'm going to swing wide, and she's just basically paying attention to me and getting rewarded for her eye contact on me.
Nice.
Once you get to level 3, your dog can maintain that connection with you, so you can probably get past the trigger before you reward.
Good. Oops, sorry.
Here's a real-life example. I've pulled over as in level 2. I mark and reward because Beans sees a person with a dog over there. And then we're going to switch into a level 3 where I body block and we hustle past them. And then I'll give the dogs a reward at the very end, which you don't see, but I assure you they got a treat. So she sees a dog on the corner. She looks up at me, gets a reward for that. That kind of warms her up for the level 3, which is we're just going to have to pass that thing. We have no choice. And that's where I body block and we just move quickly. And what you'll see is that both dogs are looking up at me as we pass those triggers because there are triggers for both dogs on that corner. And they will both get a treat at the very end. To learn all about small dog training and behavior, check out my book, Small Dog Savvy.